Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and today, as promised, I'm bringing another battle against the opponent by the name of SuperHollowfied, who challenged me on PO the other week using the team that I did the analysis of a couple weeks ago on my channel. Now, this battle actually turned out to be really fun, and I thought it was really cool just to see other people, using the sets that I've come up with, or in this case, teams that I've come up with. I wasn't actually expecting anyone to full out make this team and start using it, so I thought that was kind of funny. But I actually got a comment on one of my other videos the other day that said that after I made that analysis video, this guy managed to play the team that I made like 20 something times or something like that, which I thought was a little bit ridiculous, but I thought that was also kind of funny. But anyways, since you guys know what this guy has on his team because of my video, I figured I'd talk about I talk a little bit about some of the guys on my team, just like some of the more interesting ones. Starting off with the Larvitar, which you can see in the 6th position there. A lot of people don't know that Larvitar gets guts, which is actually really cool because it can boost its attack with a status. In this case, I have a Flame Orb on it, and it also has access to Dragon Dance, which means that if you can get like 1 or 2 Dragon Dances up, you'll be at like ridiculous attack and ridiculous speed to do a ton of damage with it. Also to note on my team, which isn't really the most commonly seen Pokemon, is a Girafarig, which I've been using to some success recently because of its ability Sap Sipper, which comes in handy against a lot of grass-type Pokemon that want to deal damage to my team, and it works especially well with Quagsire being 4 times weak to grass, so I can always switch in Girafarig to take the hit. But we're going to start off right here. I lead with Armaldo, he leads with his Miltank. I just obviously want to set up rocks, he wants to apparently Seismic Toss me. So that's what he does. And right away, I know that obviously I can't do too much to this Miltank because it's like super physically defensive. So I gotta switch right out of there, and I decide to go into my Haunter because I know that everything on this Miltank set that I made cannot touch Haunter, which I kind of realized was a problem at the time, but having Thick Fat over Scrappy ended up working out well for me. So I just go for Thunderbolt on the switch to do some good damage. Maybe he wanted to go into, I don't know, actually, I don't know why I went for Thunderbolt. Or if he wanted to stay in, I guess Shadow Ball wouldn't have worked. But unfortunately for him, even though he does resist the Thunderbolt, I actually have Giga Drain on this Haunter, so the switch to Seismitoad actually was kind of bad in his favor, even though it looked like really good at the time. But he brings out Magmortar now, and since I know this thing is going to start using Flame Charge on me, I'm just immediately going to go for Destiny Bond because I know that after 1 Flame Charge, he will be faster than me, and then he will have to make a decision on whether or not to take me out because obviously I am now slower, so if he hits me and kills me, I die. But he goes for a 2nd Flame Charge, which doesn't kill me, and I stupidly went for Shadow Ball, but luckily I get a crit, so it pretty much yielded the same result anyways as if I were to use Destiny Bond again because it just led to both of us dying, which is essentially what I was trying to get to happen. But now that we have our little double down, he goes out into Miltank, I go back into my Armaldo, and here I decide, what the heck, I'll just try to do some damage on it because I don't really know what else I could do to this Miltank other than get a status on it in some way. But I kind of run a risk of getting a status on it myself if I do that. So I go for Rock Blast, and, it doesn't do too much damage, but I wasn't really expecting it to anyways, so now at this point I'm just like, alright, I gotta get out of there and switch to something else that needs to just bring it low, and then hopefully I can revenge kill it. So I go out into Klinklang, and I go for Shift Gear to get 1 boosted attack, or sorry, +1 attack, +2 speed. The speed doesn't really matter because I outspeed it anyways, but I just go for Gear Grind on this turn because I know that I'm going to die because of the Rocky Helmet, and I just wanted to want the Miltank to be as low as possible for me to potentially revenge kill it with whatever I bring in next. And this is where I decide to bring in my Larvitar, which does a little bit of work in this battle, I gotta say. Not as much as I would have liked. But I just go right for Dragon Dance. He goes for Toxic, which doesn't help him out at all because I already had a Flame Orb on me. So now he just basically activated Guts for me, which is fantastic. So now I'm at +2 attack, basically, +1 speed, so I'm fast enough to be able to revenge kill this Miltank and take it out with an Earthquake, which is stab on Larvitar because it's not a dark type like Tyranitar is. But here he brings out his Machoke, or my Machoke, I guess you want to say, it doesn't matter. And I just go for Earthquake again to just get some good damage on it. I knew that this would probably be the strongest hit I had at the time, and I didn't really want anything else to take a Dynamic Punch, so I just leave Larvitar in to die, even though it's so little and cute, and a Dynamic Punch would have probably broken it in half. But now I just bring in my giraffe rig to revenge kill this revenge kill the Machoke with a return, which actually kills it. And I was not expecting it to do or to actually do that because a +2 earthquake did significantly did like half that. So I thought that was kind of weird. But here he brings in Masharna, so I know I can't do anything to that, but I do know that the one thing that annoys the heck out of this Masharna is getting a status on it. So I switch on to my Quagsire because it does pack the Toxic, and I'm able to Toxic this Masharna, which, even though it has Synchronized, will Toxic me back. I really don't care because all I care is about this thing being dead, and I have other things on my team, and I don't really need Quagsire anymore. All he has left is this and the Wormadam, so I realized that I can just kind of sacrifice this guy and try to bring Masharna as low as possible. And now I'm basically just going to be Earthquaking and Recovering, as he's going to be Calm Minding and Psychicking and Moonlighting. There's a lot of interesting plays that happen here because I think that he could have went for Moonlight or at least killed me off like the next turn, which he doesn't do though because he goes for Moonlight instead, which actually allows me to then recover on this next turn, allowing me to get backed up to more health to where Toxic will not be killing me. And now he's building up more toxic damage on himself slowly, so I think he should have just went for the KO on that turn as opposed to switching up moves and going from Moonlight to recover HP. Because as you can see, he's really not accomplishing much by doing this. He's actually bringing himself lower and lower as opposed to bringing himself up more, which, I don't know, maybe that was just a weird decision on his part. I wasn't sure what he was thinking. But he's able to Psychic me now again, and again, I'm still going to live from toxic damage, which I think is really funny. So now, basically, this Masharna is in a ridiculous turn on the toxic scale. I don't know how much it's doing this turn, but he actually kills me here. I don't know why the replayer glitched up to where it says I have 1 HP. I definitely did not have 1 HP. But the Toxic is actually going to bring him very low this turn to 18% to where I can just bring him my Giraffe Rig and again go for Return to take it out. Maybe he could have played that a little bit differently because then he would have been able to get a Psychic off on my Giraffe Rig, which at +2 could have still done a lot because Giraffe Rig has pretty bad defenses. But here he brings in the Wormadam, and I'm really not sure how I'm going to hurt this thing that badly, but because I know that it is more physically defensive, I'm sorry, specially defensive than physically defensive, and I have 2 physical attackers, I don't think I'm going to have too much of a trouble with it. But I just go for Earthquake as he goes for Toxic, and I'm basically just going to keep Earthquaking, and he's going to Gyro Ball me here. I think he could have rested on that turn, and it might have allowed him to kill off my Giraffe Rig, but I don't know if my poisoned Armaldo would have, or I'm not sure if my poisoned Armaldo would have been able to take out the Wormadam, or if he could have stalled me out with rest and everything. So that would have actually been interesting to see if he went for rest on that turn as opposed to another, or as opposed to Gyro Ball. But that was the battle, guys. This was actually really fun, and I thought it was pretty cool that some guy challenged me to a battle using the team that I made. Fortunately, though, I do know everything that my team was weak to, so I guess that allowed me to play around it and win. But if I lost to my own team, that would have been hilarious. But anyways, that was the battle, guys. So as always, take care and goodbye. And Happy New Year! Woohoo!